Hi again everyone, I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Jessica, and here's her story. Hello Ollie, I'm making a contribution as soon as I'm done writing this. Before I start my story, I just want to fill you in on the dynamics of my boyfriend and I's relationship. I'm 23 years old and he is 44. We met online in October of 2016. When I attracted to older man, I approached him. Now, I want to point out that I'm not completely innocent when it comes to certain things. One of them being, at the time in my life, I was rapidly growing an addiction to meth and also making the dumb decisions of getting into cars with complete strangers so I can escape from the place I call home. Well, what I'm going to tell you right off the bat, Jessica, is what I tell a lot of people. Whoever you're writing about, this guy you're writing about, isn't your problem. Your problem is the home you're trying to escape from and the reason you were on meth. I mean, meth is a motherfucker of a drug. Meth is horrible. So when I met Sean, we literally had a 10-minute conversation, and then he picked me up. I mean, this is meth logic here. This is meth logic. I mean, these are not. I mean, every red flag every red flag box. I mean, you're ticking them off. I'll be honest. My first impression of him wasn't all that great. And you got in his car. He was greasy, like he'd been working on a car, which he was. That wasn't too big of a deal. He looked kind of tough. He looked kind of rough in the beginning. My attraction to him grew with time. But what really threw me off is that in the passenger seat and the floorboard was all his tools, in which I was put in the back seat without any help. In which I put in the back seat without any help. I thought that was odd. Actually, he was very odd. But like I said, I had a growing meth addiction, so I chose to hang out anyway because he had it. So what was running your life? What was making your decisions at that point? Was it you or the meth? Did you see this guy as nothing more than a vehicle? Another vehicle to get your drugs? Is that what was going on here? I know that was very wrong of me and I shouldn't have done that, but I did, and I can't change it now. I remember it only took less than 30 minutes for him to tell me the complete tragic story of his life. His high school sweetheart died in a car crash on Christmas Day. His wife suddenly died 3 months after their son was born, and when he got into a car wreck and killed a man and was standing in his blood. Now that was a lot to take in all at once, and I remember not knowing what to say, but so sorry to hear that. It's awful. But I said, that's so sorry to hear that. It's awful. Looking back, he spoke about it like he was just talking about anything else. Yeah, because it's a rehearsed story that he's told 1,000 times to get vulnerable women. Kind of shrugged it off and rolled his eyes. He does that a lot. Now, also at this time, I had just out of a relationship and told him that day that all I wanted was a friend and maybe a little benefits. Wait a minute. Like, you got to understand what a mess you are at this point. You're telling him all you want. No, which all you wanted, I think, was access to him to get drugs and access to his money. Like, you made him online. You meet a guy twice your age. He picks you up a half hour later. You're in his car. He's telling you this whole story, and then you just want to be friends. I mean, you're lying to each other. Like you said, you got a lot to do with this yourself. This isn't your problem. Your problem is what led you to this. What you were trying to escape from. The first 3 or 4 weeks of knowing him, he was always texting me and calling. But then Thanksgiving happened. That was the night he took my soul. The night I fell completely in love with him because he had made me feel something no man had ever done before. I'll tell you, I tell him that's the night you put your spell on me. So once my switch flipped, so does his. He was speaking to me less and less each day. I was confused because before I couldn't reply fast enough and hit send. I realized the more I fell, the further he'd back away. My 22nd birthday was that December, and I had already gotten into the habit of sitting at home so I could use the Wi-Fi because I didn't want to miss him if he texted and I didn't have a phone. I sat the whole day waiting with him, saying every so often, I'll be on my way, I'm almost done. Well, when he said he was on his way, it was 11 p.m. And while waiting in the living room, I fell asleep and woke up at 3 a.m. thinking to myself, that motherfucker seriously blew me off. And I opened my bedroom door and that excrement had rushed through me when he actually came was unreal. This is just how it's written. I guess he just rushed past you. He was just there sleeping on my bed and told me he had a flat. The week before Christmas, we maybe talked once a day and we hung out once Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and a couple days after Christmas we didn't speak at all. He said he has a hard time with Christmas because of what happened to his late girlfriend, and I completely understand that. Well, by the end of January, he was barely talking to me, coming over once a week, and would have sex and leave almost immediately. Yeah, you're just a booty call to him, Jessica. You have a meth addiction. I mean, you're half his age. You're willing to wait around. You're nothing more than a booty call to him. But again, he isn't your problem. This mess is not your problem. It is a symptom of whatever you were trying to escape from home. Sounds to me this guy's almost filling a father figure type of role. This is when I started falling into a deep depression, waiting for a text for the man that made me fall. In love with him. It made me fall in love with him and then completely ignores me. And then he called one day, said I'll be there Sunday. Then no texts, no calls, nothing but silence for a month. I mean, can you not take a hint, Jessica? Can you not take a hint here? A month? I was confused, hurt. I wanted closure more than anything else. What did I do to make you hate me so much? He doesn't hate you. He's just indifferent. He's just indifferent to you. He feels you're a 21-year-old meth head just hanging around on Wi-Fi so you can get his text. Why would he give you any? Like, he came, picked you up a half hour later. You're in his car. You're throwing tools in his backseat. Like, why would any of this surprise you? You're addicted to meth. And you're escaping home. Why? Why does none of this surprise you? Because this isn't your problem. Your problem's at home, Jessica. Well, after a month, I stated to get my happy back, and then I get a Valentine's Day text, and it's one hell of a roller coaster ride from there. Couple of weeks after getting reacquainted, I started getting the feeling that he's lying about something. A strong feeling in the pit of my stomach, which sent me into a complete daze for 2 weeks until I read something about covert narcissist. I sat on the couch sobbing and watching one video after another, feeling a pain that was the worst in my life. So I confronted him, and that's when the game started for him. Now it started for him. It wasn't texting you telling you he was going to be there and then never showing up for a month. Now the game's starting. I chose to pursue him because I would feel terrible if I was wrong. So everything was great until he both just... So everything was great till we both had just got out of rehab, and I call him again. We both got out of rehab. So you're both meth heads. Like, how do you expect anybody... You're trying to decipher meth head logic here. There is no answer for it. It's meth head logic. You'll do anything for meth. You'll do anything for it. Meth head love. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen that too. The meth head love. What put you on meth to begin with? It wasn't him. He's a symptom of your problem. He's not the problem. I didn't have a phone. I was using strangers. He said, go here, I'll call me. So I did and waited on him from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. till I finally decided to just leave. A mess. I think she used talk to text on this, and again, unedited. Oh, this makes my life difficult. This makes this just so difficult. I did. He finally made it there. He proceeded. All right, that period doesn't belong there. He said go here and I'll call me. I guess I'll call you. So I did and waited on him from 1 p.m. till 11 p.m. till I finally decided to just leave a F when I did. When he did, I finally made it there and proceeded to make me feel bad for him, having to sit there all night cause there was no more buses. Never acknowledged or this is a meth story here. This is a meth story here. Okay, you trying to decipher and make sense out of what happened in your meth fog. Granted, this is after rehab, but you're still in a meth fog even after rehab. What got you addicted to begin with? Your home life. What should you be writing to me about? Your home life. If you understand your home life, you'll understand how you let this 44-year-old fucking meth head loser into your life for 3 years. Never acknowledge or apologize for letting me sit all day there without a phone call being answered. I let that go. I went to jail for failing to appear for driving without insurance for 10 days, 6 of which I was told, you're getting out tonight. I have your $250 bond, and I never got out. And when time ran out on the phone, he didn't put more. And I get out, he has a new cell phone. What do you expect? You're meth heads. He's a meth head. What? There's no honor in meth. You want honor in meth? Think again, Jessica. he left you, he didn't call you for a month. He'd leave you, just not call you for a month. You think he's getting you out of jail? He has a new cell phone. When I asked where the old one was, it said it shattered to pieces. Later that night, I find my phone in the glove box and say it's not broken. He snatches it out of my hand and says it's his friend's and made up a name. My curiosity got the best of me, and I found very friendly texts between him and a mutual friend of ours. When I confront him about it, I was called insecure and then proceeded to say things like, what in I not about to have female. When I confront him about it, I was called insecure and then proceeded to say things like, what am I not about to have female friends? You are not that jealous. I told him it hurt me that he was talking sexually, joking or not, with another female while in a relationship with me. He had to get more meth somewhere. A boundary he still doesn't respect. You want boundaries? There's no honor, there's no boundaries. There's in meth. There's no honor in meth. After that, I lost all trust, constantly checking his phone, not to mention I was still using meth. What a shock. And it tends to make paranoia worse, you think? This is what I'm trying to tell you. Trying for me. So now even though you're out of rehab, back in jail, you're still in a meth fog. You're really trying to get me to decipher what happened in a meth fog? It's meth. You're hanging out with other meth heads. This isn't your problem. What put you on meth to begin with is what your problem is. I'll admit I went a little overboard. I think I was looking for confirmation more than anything. Around July, we started residing in a motel weekly, and this is where things start to get scary. Not before you went to jail. Things weren't scary before you went to prison, in jail. I started standing up for myself, and he didn't like it. He has this behavior where he watches porn and hides it. I wasn't bothered by the porn, but him hiding it rubbed me the wrong way. You guys are living in a motel, and you're not accepting. And here's the problem when you're high on drugs like that. You don't accept the reality you're in. You're arguing about watching porn when you're living in a fucking motel? I'm taking this seriously. What I'm not taking seriously is you trying to decipher a meth fog. It's meth addiction. You need to crumple it up and throw it out, as everything that happened is under a fog of drugs. It's not relevant. Everything involved in that is toxic. What you need to focus on is what you were trying to escape from in your home life. There's your answers. There's your healing. One day after catching him throwing the phone down when I walked through the door, I proceeded to pick it up, and we tussled for a few, and I got it, and then he snapped, breaking my phone into a million pieces with his bare hands. Uli then said, "You're fucking psycho," and headed for the door when he yanked me down on the bed, got on top of me, and put a screwdriver up against my neck, threatening to kill me. What do you think is going to happen? In a meth rage and living out of a motel? What puts you in this position to begin with? The look in his eyes was so terrifying. I couldn't look in them for months. For months. So you were still there for months after. After that, I was convinced I was right, and I think he knew that he's had me question, am I the narcissist? Am I the terrible person? This doesn't even scratch the surface, but this letter is long enough, and I would absolutely love and appreciate your feedback, because he still has a group on me. And now that we have a 4-month-old, oh my God. I have a feeling he's not going away anytime soon, no matter how much I want him to, or he knows exactly how to make melt to his feet. I'm sorry this letter is all over the place, all the biggest blows in chronological order, but those big blows have nothing on what he has done to my mind. Please help me. Am I right? And how come, although I know I am right, I still can't walk away? I still want to believe I'm wrong. You have a 4-month-old now with this, and you can't do it for your child? Is the meth that strong on you? I'm afraid you may be too far gone at this. I mean, if you can't see that, like, this is addiction. This is the chaotic life of being a meth head. And as long as you keep that drug and the people associated with them in your life, you're not going anywhere, Jessica, except to an early grave. And probably lose custody of your child. Which, from the way this is written, you probably should, to be very honest with you. And I'm sure you could say how great of a mother you are. You're not. You're not. You can't be. Not living like this. Not with the decisions you make. This guy, this situation is not your fucking problem. It's whoever fucked you up in your home life. Whatever it was you were trying to escape from when you were getting on meth, jumping in the cars, searching out older men on the internet. A father figure, probably. This you wrote to me is complete fucking nonsense up until the point where you told me you got a 4-month-old with this guy. And you want to believe you're wrong so you can stay with? What kind of life are you going to give your child? For what? For meth? For a pipe? Guy holds a screwdriver to your throat and you stay with her for months and then have a kid with him? I'm trying to wake you up. You've been to jail. You've been to, like, you're addicted to meth. You're living in a hotel. You're living in a motel. It just doesn't register. And you're still worried about fixing him in the relationship because it's all about you. Yeah, Jessica, I think you probably have crossed the line and become a narcissist. Absolutely. Actually, more borderline personality disorder. But you're definitely on the spectrum. And I'm going to tell you this. If you can't leave this guy right now and do what's best for your child, put your child up for adoption. Because that's what's best. Because you are in no position and no condition to take care of this child. You have a lot of work to do if you ever want to fix this, and it has nothing to do with this guy and this situation. All your answers are in your past, in that home life you were trying to escape at the beginning. And that's the best advice I can give you, Jessica. So, Thank you for your contribution and story. I appreciate it, and I really do hope this helps. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.